Okay, everybody, welcome to the webinar tonight on how to raise $5,000 plus for your next fundraiser. And more importantly, that's something that people will support and that won't take up all of your free time. Tonight, what you're going to be learning is how to raise $5,000 in one night. What sort of fundraising works best that people will support, obviously, because you want to be doing something that's going to be getting interested by people. Something that also gives you good return on your effort, and how to get helpers involved so you don't have to do all the work yourself, and what you have to do to actually hit your fundraising target. So my name is Kate Burr. I'm an MC, a comedian, event manager, and I'm also the creator of Recharge comedy shows and Really Easy Fundraising. Recharge comedy shows is where we take our a mobile comedy club out to a school or a sporting club and do fundraisers for them. And the fundraising part is part of what this is all about tonight. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of little pictures. The one on the top left is me emceeing the Go Festival in Melbourne, and then down the bottom with all the sparkly background, that's one of the Recharge shows. And then the one in the middle, I was one of the acts on at a quiz night for Adelaide Mummy Meetings. And then the Three Stuffed Mums is another show that I'm involved in as a comedian, and that's Three Stuffed Mums. So I'm got a toddler and I'm physically stuffed, and then Maggie in the middle, she's got a teenager and she's mentally stuffed, and Kay Howe is an empty nester and she's telling everyone to get stuffed. So that's a pretty good show, and we've also done a few appearances at fundraisers for that one as well. So tonight, take notes as best you can, and I'll give you a link to the replay and a copy of the slides at the end, so you can get all of that information that you do. And let's get on with it. So I guess basically first thing to do is what to do for your fundraiser, and that's probably the thing that's on your the top of everyone's list of things that they want to know, is whether they should be doing quiz nights or morning tea or selling wine, Lamington Drive, sausage sizzles, or just simply asking for donations. And all of that information is really, really important and really, really clever, really, really essential, but we really need to be looking at 5 things to consider first of all. And the 5 things that you want to be considering first of all is how to get people involved, how to make it easy for those people, what is your return on your effort, and how to make it simple and easy for yourself, and what is going to be the actual plan for what you're doing. So first up, the must-do number 1 with fundraising is choose something that people will naturally get involved in. So you want to be appealing to a wide audience, and you want to be getting supporters who aren't personally connected to your cause. And you want to make it so unique and noteworthy that it stands out from the crowd. And you also want to make it easy to spread the word. So like, can they just is it really obvious what they need to do? So it's like, oh, we're coming to a comedy night or a quiz night, or is it something a bit more convoluted that takes a lot longer to explain? And then must do number 2 is to don't make it tedious or difficult for your supporters. So it's all very well and good to hand out raffle tickets to everybody, but who has to do all the work? Everybody except you, and that's not really fair on everybody else. So the people that you're going to have supporting your fundraiser, you want to make it really easy for them. You want to make it fun. Think about things like, can they pay with credit card? Because who has cash nowadays? Can they order online, or do they have to be asking all their friends, going around collecting cash from everybody? Can they share the details easily? Like, is it something that they can just flick an email to all their friends or share a Facebook event, something like that? And think about things that people like to do and like to buy already. So if you're involved with a social network that all likes to go to the pub, then it's probably like if they all like to go to the pub and drink beer, probably a wine fundraiser isn't going to be as helpful as something like a pizza and beer night for something like that. And whilst it's really cute to be selling tea towels with everybody's pictures on it from school, that's probably something that's really quite limited to the parents of the school. Other people outside the school aren't really going to want a picture of your child's or the whole class's pictures on a tea towel, for instance. And then have a think about, do they get something in return for that? Like, do they get a quality product or service in return, or are they just getting an empty feeling in their wallet? And you can just like ask for donations and that's fine, but there's lots of people doing fundraising nowadays, and sometimes that sort of thing starts to get a little bit tedious and people just constantly feel like they're putting their hand in the pocket and getting nothing back in return. So you must do number 3 is to understand your return on effort. Like, you want to be having a really good think about how much work is involved in what you're doing, like, and then how much money will be raised. So there might be things that sound like they're going to raise a lot of money, but they might be a lot of work, and that might just end up being too in a too hard basket for you. You want to set a clear target of how much you want to raise, and then work out from that how much you will have to sell to hit your target. So say if you wanted to raise $5,000 and you sold sausages for $2 at a sausage sizzle, then you'd have to sell $2,500 sausages to make your money. So you want to just be making sure like how much work's actually going to be involved in cooking 2,500 sausages and selling them. And then you also want to be monitoring your progress along the way to make sure you're on track and on target for what you want to be doing. Number 4 is must do is don't make it complicated and too much work for yourself. So my tip is to use systems and templates and checklists. A lot of fundraising professionals fundraising things out there have that sort of stuff available to you. You want to have a well-defined list of simple tasks. And the reason that you have a well-defined list of simple tasks is that then you can be very clear and specific when asking for help. So rather than just saying, oh, I'm not really sure what I need to do, you can go down your list and say, yep, can you please do this? And then it's all really easy. And then the other thing is to don't make it too much work for yourself, is to surround yourself with a team of happy helpers. We'll be going through that a bit more later in the webinar as well. Okay, so must do number 5 is to have a plan. Plan it out, like work out what you're going to have to do to prepare for your fundraiser, what you're going to have to do to promote the fundraiser, what you're going to have to do to produce the fundraiser, and what might go wrong and how that could be fixed. And have a really good think about that all up front, because that'll save you getting too far down the track and just going, oh my gosh, what a nightmare, and I can't get out of this now. Okay, so now that we've had a look at the must-do things to consider, let's have a look at some of those different fundraisers considering those 5 must-do steps. So let's have a look at fundraising chocolates. So, you know, where you get a box of chocolates, you send them to work, and then you end up eating half of them yourself. That's what I'm talking about here. So in this example, the chocolates sell for $1 each, and that means that they're $50 per box. So that's this first square here, and the profit for that is 40 cents per chocolate or 20 cents per box. So if you want to go down to the bottom level here, if you want to raise $5,000, you're going to have to sell 250 boxes of chocolates, of 50 in each box, or 12,500 individual chocolates. So just to reiterate that, if you're wanting to make $5,000 from fundraising chocolates that sell for $1 each, you're going to have to sell 12,500 of them. Okay, let's have a look at another one, which is wine, like, you know, where you bottle your own wine or you get clean skin wines and then you sell them to all your friends and family at a dozen a pop. So the example that I looked for, the company that I found that did online fundraising for wine, they sold their wine between $12 and $15 per bottle, or $144 to $180 per dozen. And from that, the profit was about $40 to $58. So if you wanted to make $5,000 from wine, you'd need to sell between 86 and 125 dozen bottles, or between 1,000 and 1,500 individual bottles. So just have a think about that. If you're, like what I was saying about something that doesn't make too much work for yourself, how are you going to distribute 125 cartons of wine? So just have a think about that sort of thing as we go through the numbers. And then another one that is one of my favourites probably is Lamington Drives, because I love Lamingtons. But the company that I looked up for this, they sell their Lamingtons, or the sale price is $10.50 per dozen, and you make $2.35 per dozen Lamingtons. So if you want to raise $5,000 in Lamingtons from a Lamington Drive, you're going to have to sell 2,127 dozen Lamingtons, which means you've got to distribute 2,127 Lamingtons as well. So let's have a look at these side by side. So if you wanted to raise $5,000 worth of chocolates, you'd have to sell 12,500 chocolates. And if you look at the average sale, most people would probably buy five chocolates each, which means that you get $2 profit per person. So you'd need 2,500 people to spend $5 if you wanted to make $5,000 from chocolates. And so most people, an average sale for wine would be 1 dozen bottles of wine. So per sale that you make there, you'd make between $40 and $58 profit, which means that you'd need between 86 and 125 people to spend $144, between $144 and $180 to make your $5,000. And if you average sale for Lamingtons, for instance, would be $4. Most people would buy 2 dozen Lamingtons, which means you'd profit $4.70 from those, which means you'd need 1,063 people to spend $21 and buy those Lamingtons if you're going to make $5,000. So they're either really high volumes of sales, like the chocolates, or really high spending for the wine. So like most people would have to spend between $144 and $180. Or with the Lamingtons, you just got to distribute way too many Lamingtons for my liking, because you've got to be careful of food safety and what temperature it's going to be and what time of the year, and can you get them all out to the right people at once and stuff. And that can be a little bit tedious. So I have 2 words in response to all of that. Stuff that. So what I wanted to go through now is an alternative, which might be events. So we're talking stuff like quiz nights or trivia nights, doing a live stand-up comedy show, a live music like getting a band in, or doing a dinner or a themed party like a dress up or a pizza and beer and that sort of thing. Now, just to really explain what I mean by events, like is where you go and hire a venue, you sell tickets to everybody, you do some fundraising games and activities on the night, and you sell drinks at the bar if the venue allows that. So some venues, like a hall, like a community hall, you can probably sell your drinks. If you do sports clubs, some sports clubs won't let you sell drinks at the bar, they'll take them, but you may be able to get a cut of the sales. Depends on how they all negotiate that. So if we have a look at the numbers for events, so if you have 100 guests and you sell tickets between $20 and $30 per ticket, you'll get between $2,000 and $3,000 off of the ticket sales. And then if you do fundraising games, so my clients are averaging about $10 per head from their fundraising games, so that's another $1,000, and averaging also about $10 per head at the bar, which is another $1,000. So if you have 100 guests, you can raise between $4,000 and $5,000. And if you have 150 guests, then your ticket sales will be between $3,000 and $4,500. Your fundraising games will be about $1,500. Your drinks at the bar, $1,500. And then your total money raised will be between $6,000 and $7,500. And of course, you need to deduct your expenses, which I'll talk about in a moment. So what would you rather do to raise $5,000? So like I said before, you can either sell 12,500 chocolates or get everybody to spend between $144 and $180 for the wine, or find 1,063 people who want to buy Lamingtons, or do you want between 100 and 150 people to come and spend between $40 and $50 each to make that $5,000? So when you look at it like that, the numbers along here is pretty low, and also the average spend for everybody is also pretty low. If you consider it, compare it to the wine, for example, they need to spend almost 3 to 4 times as much to raise so it's almost the same amount of people, but they need to spend 3 to 4 times as much money. Alrighty, and then the other good thing, as a bonus with events, there is alcohol involved. You have fun. Your guests are likely to be more generous if they've been drinking a little bit, and it feels less like work and more like a party. So I've been doing fundraising events now for about 4 or 5 years, and this is me here, and Yes, that was at the end of the night. I was quite happy. And this one here, drawing the raffles as an MC at a comedy show. And here's another one where everyone's on stage, all the helpers that were being thanked on that night. And as you can see, this is the sorts of this is what the crowds look like. This is a fundraiser that we had for a variety club bash, and they had a Hawaiian dress-up night. And this was a comedy show that we had during the Adelaide Fringe, which was a fundraiser. And then this was another fundraiser where everybody just it was at a sports club, and everyone just brings their food, puts it on the table for supper, has a good night out, and raise a lot of money. And these are three of my clients that I've been working with just recently. This is the Variety Club Bash. These guys raised about $8,000 in one night. They had a stand-up comedy night, and then they raised $8,000 from the silent auctions and the ticket sales. They didn't get the bar in this one because it was at a sports club and the club got the bar, but they still managed to raise $8,000 with the prizes that they had. And this lady here, lovely lady here, is Michelle. And she was raising money for this couple here, which their daughter is in a wheelchair, and they needed to find they wanted to buy her a new second-hand car that would fit the wheelchair in it. And they handed over a check for just over $11,000 at their function just late last year. And then this lady in the middle here is Janice, and Janice raises money for Cambodian Cocoon, which is to help orphans in Cambodia. And this was her. She does fundraising a lot, and she's done 5 comedy shows with us. And she raised, I can't remember exactly how much she's raised, but she's done 5 events with us, plus a number of other events as well. So she's definitely got it all worked out there. So now you can see what sort of fundraising is best. How do you actually raise the $5,000? So what actually raises the money? So what raises the money is the ticket sales, the fundraising activities like raffles and silent auctions and the like. If you run a bar or sell drinks. And then the other things that you can do to raise money is serve food and do market stalls or party plan shopping where people can sort of buy stuff at the event as well during the breaks and whatever. So with the ticket sales, my experience is to aim for the price to be between $20 and $30. Don't include drinks or food with that figure, and also consider having an early bird price or a group table price sort of thing, just to encourage early sales and bigger volume of sales. The reason that I say don't include drinks or food in the price is it's a little bit of a sneaky one, because what happens is when people go, oh, I want to come to a fundraiser, and they go, yeah, how much is it? You want to be making that barrier to entry as low as possible. So you can say, oh, $30. But the good thing is that when they come, they've forgotten about the money that they've spent on the tickets, and then they'll just buy their drinks or their raffle tickets or whatever else, and it sort of splits the payment in two. So it's like they'll still pay the same amount, but it's in part payments, and it's a bit easier for people to manage financially, and also they don't necessarily remember the money that they've already spent on stuff. A little bit sneaky. Okay. So then there's the fundraising activities and games. So these are things like silent auctions. If you do a raffle, guess how many, where you put like a whole heap of jelly beans in a jar and everyone has to guess how many's in there, and they win the jar of jelly beans, whoever's the closest, that sort of thing. That's a really good game to have on the way in at the door. Lucky squares, where you pick a number between 1 and 20 and one of those numbers wins some money. And then auctions, where you have a live auction being done on stage by the MC or something like that. And there's a fair few other things that you can do. Those ones are, from my experience, are the most straightforward and the most bang for your buck and the least amount of work. Okay, so running a bar, my tips for that is keep it simple, beer, wine and soft drinks, unless you're a very heavy, like your social networks are very heavy spirits drinkers, probably just beer, wine and soft drinks. Limit the choices, the old 80-20 rule. 80% of the people will buy 20% of the variety, so just keep it really simple and stuff. You probably need a liquor license if you're not doing it at a licensed venue. So some sports clubs already have the liquor license in place. Some community halls and stuff do not. Your venue whoever you hire the venue from will probably be able to give you some information about what sort of liquor license you'll need or where you can get that from, but that's a pretty easy thing to organise. And also consider security. So from my experience, I haven't had to worry about security at any of my events, but you may need to consider that if the numbers get quite high, or the length of time that the function goes for, or the age of the group of people that are going to be there. Alrighty, so food. My tips on food to make money at a fundraiser. Don't do it. The reasons are many. The catering for the numbers is really difficult. If people are leaving it to the last minute to buy their tickets or whatever, it's really hard to organise the food. Then you've also got the issues with food storage, preparation, and food safety and food handling things, because the last thing you want to do is have a big food poisoning epidemic on your hands afterwards. From my experience, it's really not worth the effort, because it takes up a lot of manpower and a lot of thinking power to actually pull that off. You also need the kitchen or whatever to do that. My alternative that I would much prefer and suggest to you guys to make it really simple for yourself is to just BYO a plate of supper. So in one of those photos that I showed you earlier, they all just at that event, they just bought their own food in, and we just sold my client just sold the drinks. So it's a much easier way to do it. I don't think that the amount of return that you get on the food is worth the effort that involved in doing it. Okay. And then my other favourite one is market stalls or party plan shopping. So my tip for this would be don't do it as well. This is like stuff like if you had a Tupperware lady and an Avon lady and a Nutrimetics lady and a Thermomix lady and an Enyo, or a candle party or something like that. So those sorts of things, I've seen events where they have these sorts of things going on. It takes the focus off of your direct fundraising activities and it spreads the money out. So, for instance, most of these party plan people, I do think they have a place in other things, but just if you're trying to make a lot of money in a fundraiser, this is not the place to put a party plan shopping in there, unless you do it as a big, like that's your event, is having 50 party plan people all at the thing and everyone does their shopping. The reason that it spreads the money out is because most of these places offer between 10 and 20% of their sales. So if you want to make $20 off of one of your guests, they will need to spend $100 or $200 with the party plan person so that you can get your cut of that commission. Whereas if you sold, say, if they was to give you $20 to your cause directly, they'd only have to spend $20 in a silent auction item. Or if they wanted to do raffle tickets, like that, only probably have to buy $20 worth of raffle tickets for you to get that whole money. So when you have a party plan or market stalls, it spreads the money out. And the other thing too is that a confused mind takes no action. So if there's so many things to choose from, you just go, oh, I'm not sure which one to buy, so I won't buy anything. Where it's like, would you want to buy a raffle ticket? Yes. And that's the only option. So people are much more likely to go, yep, cool, no worries, let's do it. Okay, so let's have a look at the numbers for events again. So down this level here is how many guests. So 100 guests is probably the minimum you want to be looking at for doing any sort of event, because the amount of work involved, 100 really makes it worthwhile. Anything under than that, and it probably doesn't. And so, yeah, you get your $20 to $30 per ticket. You're averaging $10 per head for your fundraising, averaging $10 per head for your bar, and then that's your total raise. And I'll just let you have a quick look at that while I just take a drink of water, because I've been talking quite a lot. Hang on just a sec. Okay, so in here, these numbers here don't include the expenses, and I'll just go through some of the sorts of expenses that you'd be expecting to pay for something like an event fundraiser. So one of them will be the venue, and that depends on what sort of a venue you have. Some people you may be able to get donated the venue for free, or you can have it at a reduced rate if it's a community event. You'd probably be looking at paying for your entertainment and also your posters, flyers and tickets. So all the promotional gear that you need to promote your event with and hand out the flyers and that sort of stuff. You probably may also need to pay for alcohol if you are running a bar, but obviously you'll get that money back when you sell it. These are the ones that you won't be getting return on money for spending, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at one of the how you can actually raise $5,000 with a couple of examples. So if you had 100 people coming to your event and you charged them $25 per ticket, they'd be earning $2,500 from that. If you got everybody to do spend $5 on a raffle, you'd make another $500. If you had a couple of silent auction items that were donated and made $500, and then if you did some lucky squares at $5 per person, that would make another $500. And then if you sold drinks at the bar, it would be another $10 per head, so another $1,000, which would add up to $5,000. Another way you could raise $5,000 is if you had 150 people coming at $30 per ticket, would be $4,500. If everybody spent $2 on a raffle, that's another $300. And if you had silent auction items worth $200, you could do that, and there's your $5,000. So as you can see, the more people you get, the easier it is to raise the $5,000. And then another one, if you didn't really want to do any sorts of fundraising games or activities at all, you could just have 200 people coming at $20 per ticket. You have bar sales at $10 per head, so $4,000 off the door sales, $2,000 at the bar, which gives you your $6,000 to be fundraised. So basically the question is, how would you raise $5,000? And these are the things that you need. These are the 4 sliding things that you can sort of tweak around to make that sort of money. So you think about how many people you're probably going to get. That'll depend on how big your social networks are and what sort of venue you're going to hire for this. How much are your tickets going to be? Are you going to do fundraising? Do you want to be bothered with that? And if you do, how much fundraising do you want to be doing? And then if you're going to be running a bar, yes or no. And that will be, again, dependent on the type of venue that you choose to hire and also how much people that you have to help. So my tip would be probably minimum two people to help run the bar, serve drinks on the night, and 3 depending on how much bigger the crowd is. Okay, cool. So yeah, so it's basically just manipulating those 4 things to work out how you're going to make your $5,000. So now you can see how you can raise $5,000. How do you make sure that it doesn't take up too much of your time? Because you want to be making, like, people are limited time. We've all got jobs and families possibly and a social life, so we don't want to be spending every single waking moment on planning an event. So my keys to successful events are: plan it out step by step, get people to help you, do a little bit each week and give yourself enough time, like enough lead-in time, and keep on track and monitor your progress along the way. So when you're planning it out, think about how much do you want to raise and why? What resources do you need to have that happen? So, for instance, if you were going to do a sausage sizzle, it's like, what do I need? I need a barbecue. I need some people to cook it. I need sausages, bread. If I'm going to have an event, it's like I need a venue. I need people to come. I need some games to play for fundraising, that sort of stuff. How are you going to promote it and get people to your event? Like, have you got a sports group that you can tap into? Have you got a school group that you can tap into? Have you got a workplace that's big? Where are the people going to come from, and where are your social networks and stuff like that? And what do you have to actually do to deliver the fundraiser? So that's the actual delivery. So it's like, do I have to hold a quiz night? Do I have to hold a comedy show? Do I have to hand out 1,063 boxes of Lamingtons? That sort of stuff. Okay, so we also want to be getting people to help you, but sometimes it's just easier to do it yourself. That's why you want to be using systems and checklists to keep track of your tasks, and delegate very simple, straightforward tasks with a due date. So it's like, can you please organise a playlist for me for playing during the breaks by 3 weeks' time? So when you give somebody a due date for when something needs to be done by, it gives you a really good excuse to call them up again in that 3 weeks time and say, how are you going with that, and making sure that it all gets done. And if you've got your list and checklist there of all the tasks that you've delegated out, you know which ones have come back and which ones haven't. And be very clear and specific on what you want people to do, and don't overload them with too much stuff. Okay. And then there's also 3 types of people that I've found are like with fundraising. There's 3 types of people, and it's really helpful to understand these 3 types of people to work out which jobs you should be handing out to which people. So there's the people, right? And they're the social butterflies. They've got they're the ones in your friendship group that they organize everything and they say, we're doing this, and everyone goes. So they're the people, and they're the ones that you want to be helping you, tapping into, so that you can get them to help you sell the tickets to your event. Like, can you bring a group of your friends to this event, that sort of thing. And they're also really good people to have on the door as welcoming people as they arrive, collecting tickets and the like, and running the fundraising games on the night and selling raffle tickets, that sort of thing, because they're obviously naturally like people. They get on very well with people, and it's an easy job for them to do. Then you've got the creative people, and they're really good at making things look amazing. So you want to be getting them to help you with doing stuff like designing the posters and the flyers and the tickets and the social media posts and that sort of stuff if you're using a Facebook event or something like that. They're also really good at organising. Can you work out what decorations we need for the venue? Can you organise what we're going to put on the tables to make it look pretty? That sort of thing. The creative people are the best people to be asking for that sort of stuff. And then you've got the details people, and these are the people who love to dot the I's and cross the T's. So you give them stuff like, can you do the venue contracts, the booking contracts, the logistics of how everything's going to happen, monitoring the ticket sales, preparing the budget, all of that sort of stuff. So if you can hand out the jobs, like if you can assess the sort of person that they are if they've said, do you want any help? If you can give them a quick assessment of what sort of a person are they, and give them jobs that relate to what they like to do naturally, then they're going to be much more willing to do that sort of work and help you out. The other thing you want to be doing is to do a little bit each week. So I'd be planning between 1 and 3 hours a week that you want to be doing, and give yourself a 12-week lead-in time, so that you've got plenty of time to get all the venue, like what you're actually doing, organised, like the who, what, where, when, why sort of stuff. And then you've got a long time to promote the event and get yourself selling tickets, and then also all the like the fundraising prizes and the table signage and venue decorations and all of that sort of stuff, so that you can have everything done in time for the event. By doing a little bit each week, you also have much less stress, and you can sleep soundly at night because you feel like you've got everything under control, instead of waking up in cold sweats just going, oh my gosh, what have I got to do, sort of thing. Okay. There's pretty much 9 key areas of events. So there's the planning, like the what are you going to do, when are you going to do it, who's going to come sort of stuff. Then there's the preparation, like booking the venue, booking the entertainment, deciding on all the what are you going to do and how you're going to sell tickets. And then there's the design, like designing the flyers and posters and the tickets and the social media campaign and that sort of stuff. And then you want to be selling the tickets, like actually people buying them off of you. And then you got to look after the finances and the budget, doing the fundraising games and activities, creating a really cool atmosphere and mood at your event. So that'll be your table decorations and the music and the sound and the lighting and all that sort of stuff. Having your helpers and volunteers help you out, and organising the logistics. And that's just basically making sure everything's getting done when it should be, making sure the ticket sales are happening when they should be, and making sure that the money comes through as it should be. And then you want to be having to keep on track and monitor your progress. So if you have a checklist of what tasks to do when, then you know if you're tracking okay, or if you're running behind, or if you need to pull in some more help to get you sorted out with that. Have a central spot to keep all your information. So like in a big folder or something is really good, because otherwise if you're anything like me, I have the floor filing system where everything just goes on the floor around my desk sometimes if I'm really busy. And I know accountants that are very fond of that method as well. So it's much better to have everything in a folder from the start, and it all just gets stayed in there, and you don't have to worry about losing important stuff like booking contracts or names of people or lists of sponsors and all that sort of stuff. Have due dates for everything so that you can follow up tasks if they're not done on time. And also you want to be monitoring how your ticket sales are going. Like, you don't want to be leaving it till the last week and only have 10 tickets sold. You probably want to be 80 to 90% of your capacity sold out with a week to go, that sort of thing. Okay, so what we've basically covered today is how to raise $5,000 in one night that people will support and it won't take over your life. So we've talked about how to raise $5,000 in one night by doing an event and having something that people will support by choosing something that they'll be naturally attracted to and something that's easy for them to share and something that will be helpful you'd be interested in going to it even if it wasn't a fundraiser for a certain cause. So if you're not personally connected to a school or a sports club or whatever the money's being raised for, you could still actually go and have a good night out. And something that won't take over your life, so that was basically about doing little bits each week and keeping on track and monitoring your progress and stuff like that. Okay. So basically, in summary, how to raise $5,000 in one night: do an event, sell tickets, do some fundraising activities and have a bar, have a really clear plan of what you're doing, delegate as many tasks as you can, and monitor your progress along the way. Now, I just want to finish up with a little bit of a warning, like warning, danger, Will Robinson sort of thing. Events have a use by date. They're very time sensitive and you have to get it right on the night. Like, you cannot sell a ticket to an event that was yesterday, so you need to make sure that all the tickets are sold before you get to the event, which is pretty obvious, but sometimes people overlook that because they just go, oh, yep. And then you also have to get it right on the night. Like, there is only one chance when you have all of those people in a room. If anything messes up, then it's going to be a big problem. So you have to get it right the first time, basically, if you've never done it before. So how do you get it right the first time if you've never done it before? Like, how are you going to actually do that? Because you can either do it the slow trial and error way and make a lot of mistakes along the way, like I have done over the years. And I don't know if you've ever done something like a project and you just go, oh, next time I reckon we'll do this, next time I could do that so much better, and next time I could do that. Well, that's fine, but there might not be a next time if you're doing a fundraiser to have a personal adventure like walking the Kokoda track or trail or something like that. You might not have a next time, or you might really need to get those funds to a family in need pretty quickly. So you don't really want to be trial and erroring the whole time and hoping that you get it right. Because the other way you can do it is the really easy way. And I just wouldn't mind sharing with you now Hit Your Target, which is a online fundraising course that I've been working on for the last probably 5 months. So it's been a bit of a culmination of a number of years worth of trial and error and finding out what works and what doesn't and all the rest of it. And that's what Hit Your Target online course is. Now, this is perfect. This is the perfect solution for you if you want to make a difference and help change the lives of others. If you like going out and having fun with people, if you have a really big social network or are connected into a big social network of real life people, so it doesn't really matter how many Facebook friends you have, they need to be real life people that you're connected to. So whether that's like a sports club or a school or that sort of thing. And if you're happy to put in 1 to 3 hours of work per week for 12 weeks leading up to the event, and if you like to be organised and achieve your goals. This is not really going to work for you if you're a bit of a homebody and don't like to go outside and socialise. If you're a sort of she'll be right, mate, and leave everything to the last minute kind of person, you don't need to have something like this. And if you think one person can't make a difference, so there isn't any point trying, this is probably not really going to help you either. Okay, so I was saying before, I've been doing fundraising for a number of years, and these are just a few of the events that I've been involved in. And these are some of the crowds of people that I've had at my fundraisers, and they look pretty happy. And that's the other reason why I think that events are such a good thing to do, because everyone has such a good time, has a great night out, and then they don't really mind supporting a cause because they've had so much fun. So Hit Your Target is a 9-step simple system, and it's been broken down into these 9 areas with powerful planning, perfect preparation, easy done design, and that's the design of all your posters and flyers, that sort of thing. Then the selling ticket secrets, so how to sell the tickets, like actually get people to buy them. And then the foolproof finances, which is all your everything to do with your money side of things. Flawless fundraising, which is the fundraising games and activity stuff. And then we have addictive atmospheres. Heaven Sent Helpers, which is managing all your volunteers and help that you're going to be needing for an event, and all organised. And that's all your checklists and run sheets and that sort of stuff that you need, like your list of things that you need to be doing. And so what I've done up to help people navigate what's being needed in an event is come up with a flow chart like this. So across the top is the 9 key areas for event fundraising, and then down each column is all the things that you need to do. So for instance, with your planning, it's like, what are you going to do? Who is going to come? Who are going to be your 10 friends to help you sell tickets? What's going to be who's going to be on your team? Are you going to run a bar? Are you going to serve food? Where's your venue? And finalising the event details, that sort of stuff. And then with your addictive atmospheres, for instance, it's like how are you going to set up your venue and your tables? What are you going to use for music, sound and lighting? Are you going to have an MC for the day, for the night or event? How are you going to display and manage all your prizes? What signage do you need? Do you need lists of prizes, sponsors, your VIPs, that sort of stuff? What's going to be your colour scheme and your decorations, if that's applicable? And are you going to run a bar? So that's the sort of stuff that goes through in the mind map, or the flow chart, I should say. And then each week there's a weekly to-dos and checklists. So in the 11 to 12 weeks to go, what do you need to do 10 weeks before the event? What do you need to do 9 weeks, and so on? And that's been broken down into a flow chart here as well. So each of the weeks go down the page, and then all the tasks that you need to do go across. And they've all been colour-coded into which categories they are. So like the dark blue is powerful planning, and then the light blue or the mid blue is perfect preparation, and the aqua is easy done design, and then the red's all organised. So they're the sorts of things that you need to be doing as you go along each week. And there's a bit of a close-up of the like what's your weekly tasks, and that way you can break it down a lot easier for you. And then what else have we got in there? We've got the master plan and run sheets. So the master plan is pretty much everything you're going to ever need to do. It's all written down in one document, so you don't have to worry about waking up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night going, oh my gosh, have I forgotten to do that? So it basically goes, what's your action, or what's the task that you need to do, and then any follow-up comments about what, like when you've done it, or what needs to be done, or how it's progressing. And then if there's a budget amount for it, who's responsible, when is it due, and when's it being completed. So you just sort of basically work through that document, tick everything off, and everything's good. And then there's run sheets for the day of the event and the actual event. So it might be all good and well to have everything in your head about what's going on, but it's really hard for volunteers and helpers to help you if they can't see what needs to be done. So the run sheet of the day of the event is like stuff like, we'll meet here, we'll set up the tables, then we'll set the tables, and then we'll put up the signs, and blah, 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 blah. And then the actual event is, this is when the show starts, this is who's speaking first, this is when a guest speaker's on, this is when we're doing the raffles, this is when we're doing fundraising games, this is when we're having breaks, that sort of stuff. And then there's also the budget and financials. So there's like a template to do like all your budget. So everything that you need, that you're possibly going to have to spend or keep track of or get a price for, that's all included in a spreadsheet that you can work that out. And then there's also a checklist for like what you actually need money-wise on the night, like what floats do you need, what are you going to need like change-wise for the fundraising games, what are you going to need for the bar and cash tins, and how much money you're going to need behind the bar before you start, and that sort of stuff. And then there's all the templates and instructions on how to do all the fundraising games and activities. So there'll be the template if you need it. So like this one at the front, for instance, is a silent auction bidding form. You just print that out, fill it out, stick it on the table next to your prize, and then your silent auction's ready to go. So it keeps it nice and easy and not making too much work for yourself. And then we've also got the templates, the checklists, and the info sheets. So there's like checklists on how to choose a venue, must have info on your promo gear, because I don't know how many times I've got something printed out and went, oh, I didn't put the venue address, or I forgot the date, or we forgot to put how much the tickets were, and that sort of stuff. So that's a checklist of everything that you need to put on there. Make sure you have it on there so you don't have any messy printing mistakes and costly printing mistakes and that sort of stuff. Or when you put something out and people ask silly questions and you just feel like a bit of an idiot, you don't have to worry because it's already there for you. And then there's like a promo and ticket sales overview. So this sort of talks about how many weeks to go, what you should be doing with your promotions, and how many tickets you should have sold, and that sort of stuff. And then I really love this one too. This is an 8-week promo plan. So when you're doing an event and you're trying to get people to come to it, it's really easy to just go, do you want to come? Do you want to come? Do you want to come? We're doing this. Do you want to come? Do you want to come? Do you want to come? But the problem is that you start sounding a little bit repetitive after a while, and people start to switch off because it's the same thing over and over again. And so this is an 8-week promo plan of different things that you can say every week for 8 weeks leading up to your event, and they all build on top of each other. So at the end, people are like, yep, I'm coming. This sounds great. We're there. Okay. So basically you get all of that sort of stuff, and then the investment is just $97. And the bonus that you can also get as well is a supplier vault. So that's like, who do I use for all my printing and tickets and design work? And obviously, because it's fundraising, we don't want to be spending a lot of money. So these are like the most price effective people who do still a great job. And that sort of stuff. So I'll share with you all of those suppliers that I use, and also the running a bar. So if you do have to do a bar, it's like, what do I need to include? What sort of stuff do I need to get? And then it has like the bar price, templates. It has all the information on where to go for your licenses and that sort of stuff. And there's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you have a look at it, or if you get this, hit your target, you go, oh, it's really not quite what I was expecting, then you just send me an email within 30 days and you'll get your money refunded. No questions asked, no hard feelings. And I just wanted to show you quickly too, because I've been a bit excited about this. This is what the online course looks like on the website. So as you can see, down here's all the different categories of what those 9 key areas are. And then there's like the step-by-step guide here, and your time-saving templates, which is a quick links to those. And then this is like, if you clicked on the simple steps, this is like, you get the instructions for how many weeks to go. You just click on that and it takes you to those pages. And there's an example of what you get on your training pages, which is your videos and your flow charts and your diagrams and that sort of stuff. So I'm just going to pop up a link for you if you wanted to get some more information about that. Okay, so hopefully that's gone through. Just let me know if you can't see it. There's a link that I've just put up in the comments box, and so you can go to that. So that'll, if you go to click on that link, that'll take you to this page, which is where you can go. And then if you scroll down the page, you'll see all more information about it. And then to just get to the order page, you either click on that little circle at the top or the buy now button there. And then once you get down there, you just click on the buy now button again, and then that will take you through to PayPal. And then you just click on the checkout or the PayPal button there. And then you can either pay with PayPal. If you've got a PayPal account, you just put in your details there. Or if you want to pay with a debit or credit card, then you just simply put your information in there. And then if you click on the pay with credit or debit card, then it takes you to the information there. and then just simply click on the pay button on the bottom, and that's as easy as it is to order. And then within the next couple of days, I'll send you through your log-on details to get into that online course that I showed you, and then it's pretty much follow your nose from there. And then if you have any questions, of course, you can email me. So if that's been something, hopefully that's been helpful for you tonight. If that's something that you think you'll be interested in, just click on the link now and I'll see you on the other side. And also I'm going to be staying around for questions for 5-10 minutes or however long it needs to be if anybody's got any questions for me. So please ask away. To ask a question, you simply type it into the comment box on the control panel of the GoToWebinar thing, and then you'll see, and then I'll see it, and then I'll be able to answer it for you. Alternatively, if you wanted to email me, you can email me at kate@kateburr.com.au with any questions if you prefer to keep it a bit more private with the answers and stuff like that. So I'm just going to have a quick drink of water while everybody types away if anybody's wanting to ask any questions. Okay, what have we got here? Oh, thank you, Shaz, who gave me a few good tips tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much, Shaz. More than happy to have helped out with that. And you've held a few fundraisers, so good luck with all the rest of your fundraisers that you hold. And if there's anything that I can help out with, please let me know. That'd be great. And somebody's just typed in, how did you think about creating this? Okay, well, one of the things is I actually created this program a bit by accident, really, because I was noticing with the fundraising clients that I had for my comedy shows that some clients were having trouble getting to the actual show and selling enough tickets to get there. And we started having a few cancellations, and it was the same show that we were doing. For some people were fine and that we were selling 200 tickets and that was not a problem, and then other people were sort of getting to the 50-60 mark and then having a real big trouble trying to get over that line. So what I ended up doing was I just started realizing that some people instinctively knew what to do with an event and others didn't necessarily know what to do because they hadn't done it before. So I initially designed this for our comedy show clients, and then I showed it to a few of my business networking friends, and because they've just actually finished doing a bike ride in Thailand, and they actually thought it was a really helpful thing for just everybody, because what happens with events is that there's not often information on how to do events. Like if you're doing a plant bulb fundraiser or something, like, where you sell daffodil bulbs and stuff, like the company that sells that product obviously makes a percentage of the profits from that fundraiser, so they give you all the information that you need to run that fundraiser. But a lot of the time with events that there is no information involved, because nobody makes any money from somebody running a quiz night other than the sports club or the individual or the school that's running it, which is probably a really good thing in one respect, but in another respect it means that most people are always flying solo. So what I ended up doing was coming up with this and designing this and making it as affordable as possible for people, so that they've basically got somebody to hold their hand with along the way to do the fundraiser, I guess, if that makes sense. Hopefully that's answered your question. Cool. All right, have we got any other questions? Because if not, I think it's almost time to wrap it up. No, all good. Alrighty, so thank you very much everybody for joining me, and if you want any more information or to drop me a line or any feedback, please head to the website, my website, kateburr.com.au, and I'll be more than happy to help you out there. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.